I can't even forgive myself. Well, let me tell you that God forgives you if you ask Him for the forgiveness of your sins. And it's only when you find out how much Jesus has forgiven you that then you can forgive yourself and finally let it go, because the price has been paid.
Forgive yourself. Now, it's hard when those we love and those around us cannot forgive us for our wrongdoings. That's hard enough. But when you cannot forgive yourself, that's not survivable. You don't need to make it right to everybody. You didn't harm everybody. But those you need to make it right to, you've done that, and you've left it behind. Now forgive yourself, all right? Today's a new day. Today's a new you. And so do not destroy yourself over a man that no longer exists.
You are not your past. You're you. You're you right now. Like the past you might have done some things you wish you hadn't done. Don't dwell on that. You learn from it, that's fine, but don't dwell on it. Just keep moving. Keep moving. Use it as fuel. Say never again. I get what I did wrong, but don't think that you're that person that made those mistakes. You're the person who's learned. It's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. And if that's the case, like some people are stuck in high school. They're stuck in failures that they had like when they were first getting jobs, and they always think that they're a loser, and they don't like the feeling of failure, so they keep low expectations so that they never have to feel that. You got to get through it. You got to get through bad feelings. You got to get through failure. It's very important. And you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going.
I also noticed as a clinician, that I was often dealing with people who had been accused in one way or another, often by themselves, of some malfeasance. And if someone was feeling very guilty and was depressed, for example, which is that's a situation where the adversary is within and is eating your soul, so to speak, you have to mount a strong defense. And, that means that you should take a very careful look at your weaknesses and your transgressions. But you should do that from the initial presumption of innocence. You have to get your ducks in order so that you can justify to yourself your own claims of innocence. And that means you also have to learn to do that without a kind of careless self-righteousness, and also without that proclivity to move toward more extreme views, which does also lurk as a temptation under such circumstances.
Humor and forgiveness are essential in this process. Have absolute confidence, absolute affirmation, and then go for it. And if you're absolutely wrong, dead wrong, humor. Wow. I'll bet you there's been nobody on earth that's ever been that wrong. I bet you I could get the gold medal for wrongness. And then forgiveness. Because forgiveness, as we've said before in previous podcasts, is giving yourself forward. Giving yourself back forward, so not being stuck on some bad attitude or some bad decision that you've made, but giving yourself forward to the present moment and saying, okay, I'm going to go forward with just as much confidence and just as much affirmation, and I'm going to go down this path. Dead wrong. Humor, forgiveness, and you're eventually going to get it right.
And this is my message to all men. Only honorable men feel shame. The shame is the sign that you're honorable. It's the indicator that you're honorable. Dishonorable people, men and women, feel no shame. No matter what harm they've done to anyone, they feel no shame. Shame is a sign of honor, an indicator of honor, a function of honor. So we have a process called noble forgiveness. We teach it in Extreme Freedom and in Being Extraordinary as a Man. And noble forgiveness, you can do it for yourself. If you can provide for yourself, listening to yourself as an honorable person, restoring your honor. Sometimes you need another person who's going to hear you that way. Mm-hmm. And women complete this exercise when they've seen how they've emasculated men in the Understanding Men course online, when they realize how much they've harmed men. And they do a written noble forgiveness. I harmed this person by, I harmed this person when. Zero justification. Zero. If you're justifying, you are not heading into the shame. But my husband was the one that pointed this out. He said the worst thing about shame is it disconnects you from your own spirit. Disconnects you from your own spirit. So I have found one of the greatest privileges of my life is to be on the other side of noble forgiveness. Because when people are saying what they're ashamed of having done that harmed themselves or another, you see who they really are. The shame comes from failing at what you're profoundly committed to. It's just the opposite. And most women can't listen to men express what they're ashamed of because we feel your hurt and we want to take away your hurt. And unfortunately, how we try to take away your hurt is by saying, but you couldn't have. Like, I didn't protect her. I didn't protect her. I should have been there. But honey, you couldn't have. You're not Superman. That's one of the biggest insults you can give a man. Like, you think you're so powerful, you could have protected our daughter from thousands of miles away? Yes, I do, and I should have. But we'll try to be logical, just like you guys try to talk us out of hurt feelings.
Funny. This literally just happened yesterday.
Yes,
exactly
so we try to talk you out of feeling bad instead of when you say, I'm so ashamed of myself for doing that, or I'm so ashamed of myself for not doing that. The appropriate response is, thank you for owning that. Anything else about that? And you just pull the string. And it might be, oh, and I harmed this person that way too, and this person that way, and this person that way. Or I betrayed myself this way, and this other way, and this other way. You just pull a string. Yep. I harmed myself when I gave into this. I harmed myself when I didn't tell the truth about that. I harmed myself when Thank you for owning that. Thank you for owning that. Until the answer to the question, do you forgive yourself? Until the answer is yes. Now I'm ruthless in freeing people. Freedom is my highest value, the power to choose. I'm ruthless about it. In being extraordinary as a man, of course, I pulled out all the stops. Because see, here's the thing. When a man feels shame, biggest failure. It's the biggest failure that he could possibly confront. Let's say that he did something here in this part of the river, right? And he is deeply ashamed of the way that he failed himself or others. He won't ever go there again. He'll go everywhere but there to protect himself from ever failing like that again. He thinks that's his penance, the pain that he's in to withdraw from his family. The men who leave their children because they're sure their children are better off without them. But then they realize, oh, but they also are harmed by me not being there, right? Women don't know. Most of the decisions y'all make is because you think we'd be better off without you. Men take their lives because they think we'll be better off without you. Men leave their children. They'll be better off without me. I make their mother crazy. They'll be better off without me. I can't handle my temper. They're better off without me, right? But the thing is, you're missing from this part of life, whether it's love, or being an entrepreneur again, right? And going and kicking some ass with that creativity and productivity, right? Being a father, showing up when they're 35 years old. Like, how about we try this now, right? But men stay away from this in order to never fail like that again. And how I have challenged men to forgive themselves, and it's why we call them noble forgiveness. Noble comes from the word that means generous. To forgive yourself is a generous act, because when you forgive yourself, and it'll take courage to forgive yourself, life is going to call you back to the place you've been avoiding. It's going to call you back. When you say, yes, I forgive myself, it's like it goes and it opens this space that's just asking for a commitment. And when I work with people on noble forgiveness, it's like, don't decide ahead of time what you're going to commit to, because you're still in the paradigm of penance. You'll commit to something in order to make up for. When you've truly forgiven yourself, there's no making up for anything. There's just expression as who you are now. Pure expression. And it's bigger than any penance you could pay. And it's so much better. It's so much better.
Liberating. It feels so liberating.
Because you're reunited with yourself.